Today's video, I want to talk about planned obsolescence and why they have to keep getting you to buy new versions of anything. You know, it could be a new operating system, or a new computer, or a new smartphone, or a new car, or whatever. They need to keep getting you to buy a new one. Well, that's because companies have to make money. They have to earn money, right? If they produce a product that doesn't become obsolete, then that company would go bankrupt. I think there was a vacuum company that made really good vacuum cleaners a long time ago. I'm not sure if it was Hoover or something. Some company that produced such a timeless product that they went bankrupt as a result of it. Because in the economy that we live in, we have to constantly make money, right? We need to make money to pay for stuff like homeowners insurance, property tax. If you have kids and if you're working, you and your wife are working, then you need to get childcare. You need to pay somebody to watch after your children. Um, we need to make money to do everything. We need to pay for utilities. We need to pay our bills, basically, right? We need to buy groceries every month to survive. So we constantly have to make money in this economy to live, right? So how can any company produce a product that's just a one-time product that never becomes outdated or obsolete? For car companies, your car or automobile, or whether that be an internal combustion vehicle or a electric vehicle or whatever, your motorcycle or your scooter or whatever, these things wear out. Your vehicles wear out, right? Like I have my car wears out. The more I use it, the more miles I put on it, the more it wears out and I have to replace it, right? Everything on that car goes bad. Like the tires get worn out, I need to replace the tires. The transmission gets bad, right? All the parts in that car go bad the more I use it. But for stuff like computers, smartphones, and stuff like that, um, yes, they do go bad with time, but it seems like we've reached a point in history where a lot of these devices don't need to get replaced as frequently as compared to the 1990s. In that, back in the 1990s, you had a lot of technology was accelerating, right? You had a new type of CPU every 2 or 3 years, so you needed to upgrade your computer or get a new one because the machine that you had wasn't adequate enough to run the new programs, right? Which required more, which required better hardware. But this hasn't been the case for the past, I guess, starting from 2009 or something. Because I had a i7 960. That computer was good for up to 2018 when I replaced it. So that was good for how many years is that? 2009. About 9 years? That's not too bad, is it? 9 years. And if I didn't want to get a new computer, I could have just kept that computer and I would have been fine with it. no problem. That computer is can still go on the, you could surf the internet with it, you could use it for everything you need, as long as it had a modern operating system, which it could run. It could run Windows. I had Windows 10 on it, so that wasn't a problem at all. I just wanted to replace it. So now you have something like Windows 11 where they're forcing you to upgrade to Windows 11 because a lot of the computers don't have TPM 2.0. They may have UEFI BIOS. Most computers that were made in 2012 and after that have UEFI BIOS, and but computers that were made, I guess, before 2015 don't have TPM 2.0, and you can't, as a result, you can't upgrade to Windows 11 because your computer doesn't have the hardware for it, right? It doesn't have the TPM 2.0 chip, which was the case for me with my i7 47970K computer. This did not have a TPM 2.0, but it did have UEFI BIOS, and I was able to install Windows 11 on it, but it's not updating because it doesn't have TPM 2.0. So it's basically worthless. The operating system is worthless because it's not updating. So come next year, October 14, 2025, you have a choice. You can, if you have hardware that doesn't have the computer that doesn't have the hardware requirements for Windows 11, then the operating system will no longer be supported. So you'd be using Windows 10, or you'd be using Windows 11, which isn't updating. And here's a problem with operating systems that lose support. For the next maybe 2 years, it's okay because they don't come up with the updates for you to use certain applications. But after 2 years, you may be using an obsolete or end of support operating system, but then after that, programs stop working. You can't get new programs to run because they need the new updated features of the new operating system, which isn't available on the old operating system. You cannot install that on the old operating system, like some works type of updates. You can't get that because you need a newer operating system to do that. So then slowly your computer doesn't work for certain application. It becomes worthless. Doesn't mean you can't use your computer. You can still use it, but it's no longer good. Plus, it's not giving you the security update, so it's not safe to use on the internet. Your computer can get hacked, and that's not good. Your private information could get stolen. And for me, I had to upgrade my Samsung Galaxy S8, which I got in 2018, early 2018. That was I had to get that to replace my other smartphone, which was about 5 years older, 5 years old that time. So I had to replace that. And the smartphone I had in 2013, it doesn't work for a lot of the apps, like YouTube, for example, and other banking apps. It doesn't work anymore because that operating system is not supported, and the smartphone company didn't update the operating system because it's not supported. So it's basically worthless. It doesn't work anymore. So the same thing was happening with me with my Samsung Galaxy S8, because when I tried to use a banking app, I used that to scan checks so I don't have to go to the bank to make a deposit. And about a couple of weeks ago, I tried to use the banking app to deposit the check, but the banking app didn't work. So now this is becoming inconvenient for me. Now I have to drive to a bank, uh, write on the deposit slip my account number and everything, the amount for the check, and I have to go to the teller and deposit the check, which would have been easier if I would have just been able to use my smartphone to make a deposit through my smartphone, right? Than going to the bank and wasting 30 to 40 minutes, right, of my time. Because you have to drive there and you have to wait in line and everything, and it's inconvenient. So I said, this is the reason why I got a new smartphone. I got the Samsung Galaxy S24. Uh, the phone that I had before was working fine, but I was having some issues with it after that phone was no longer supported. I mean, after Samsung stopped giving the updates for the phone around April 2021. Like when I went on YouTube, when I tried to comment, it would freeze up or something for a couple of sometimes minutes before I could type anything in the comment thing. So that was inconvenient, and the final straw that broke the camel's back was when I couldn't use the banking app. So I had to replace my smartphone as a result. So that's planned obsolescence, right? It's like a hamster wheel or something. They need to keep getting you to buy new stuff, even when the hardware that's in it is adequate. Because I know my i7-4790K computer works fine, but it just doesn't have some of the newer features. So as a result, I have to get a new computer, which I did this year. I got a new computer, which is an i7 13700KF base processor. And I bought it because starting from next year, October 14, 2025, Windows 10 is no longer going to be supported. So I need to have a computer that works. So I migrated everything from that old computer to the new computer, so I wouldn't have any problems transitioning when the time comes for me to replace the computer, because the operating system is no longer supported. This is kind of odd because Microsoft is a company that specializes in making operating systems. How on the other hand, a smartphone company is a company that sells smartphone devices, right? Smartphone computers, and they could force you to. They could force you to not, since they have control over the operating system. They could stop supporting the operating system for the phone, and then that would make the phone obsolete, right? What Microsoft is doing is they're making every computer that doesn't have TPM 2.0 obsolete. Maybe in the future they may come up with more stringent requirements, like any CPU that is an at least an eighth generation Core I processor will not be supported or something. They could do that, They could very well do that, or they may come up with new security features that are embedded on the CPU or the motherboard, and say if your computer doesn't have those security features, then your your operating system will not be supported. This is where it's all leading to. For the computer industry, it's good because it forces people to get new computers and upgrade, which gets the money flowing, right? Because nobody makes any money when you have a computer that you never need to update or upgrade. I had the i7 4790K computer. I got it in 2014. Okay. So about 10 years. That's pretty good. If I would have really wanted to, it would last 11 years until next year. So 11 years is a pretty long time for someone to not have to upgrade or replace their computer. And I'm pretty sure if Windows 11 didn't come up with this requirement, it would last more than 11 years. Because computer hardware is not really getting that much better. It's getting incrementally better, but it's not like how it was back in the 1990s when the technology got really good. When you had to upgrade your computer to use the new operating system because the old computer couldn't use the new operating system because it would be too slow because when I tried to I remember having a Pentium 100 megahertz computer back in 1994, and when I upgraded it to Windows 95, it was quite sluggish. It wasn't that great when I was running Windows 95. So I had to get a new computer as a result of that because the old hardware couldn't handle the new operating system. But starting from 2009, I said that's not the case anymore. You have computers from back in 2008 that could run Windows 10 just fine. You could do everything with it. Maybe you may not be able to play the latest games, but you could do a lot of stuff with it. So this planned obsolescence thing, it's just a way to get you to spend money to support the industry. But as for Windows 11, there are options you could take if you don't want to upgrade your computer. You could always settle for a distro of Linux, although using Linux as a desktop operating system is not, I don't think it's good because it's not well supported like Microsoft Windows is. There's some programs that you need to use on Windows and it's only available on Windows, like Microsoft Office and stuff like that. You may have some CAD programs that use Windows or something, or some kind of programming software, or like compilers that only work on Windows, or video editors that only work on Windows. So you get the idea. And games and stuff, because when it comes to games, it's not very easy to get them to run on Linux because you have to do a lot of stuff to get it to run because there's many distros or distributions of Linux, so they're not all the same. They have different. They have different features, and you have to kind of hack it to make it to work, and that's not really feasible for an average user. So I guess if you are into mainstream software, then I guess your only option is to get a new computer. Or you could use Linux if you want. If you're just using web-based programs, then I guess Linux would be okay. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. And thanks for watching.